Okay, guys, again, welcome. We are going to learn fundamentals of Linux. It's a 50 hours course. And in these 50 hours, I'm going to cover the entire Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 9, the RHL 9 operating system, plus a bit of automation. Okay. And obviously, there will be practice sessions, Q&As, everything. Okay. So, yeah. So just let me again introduce myself. So my name is Amit. I have at least 12 years of industry experience. I started my career as a Linux administrator, slowly moved on to automation in Linux, and then finally, I'm working as an architect in automation. All right. So this is my journey. And if we talk about certifications, I am RHCSA, RHCE certified, and many other cloud certifications also. But yeah, so with Red Hat, I have these two certifications. Okay. And see, again, the purpose of this course is to enable you so that you are able to crack the interviews, you are able to clear the exams, the RHCSA certifications, RHCSA, RHCE, like that. Okay. So, yeah, so this is it. All right. So, see, what I thought of, today is I wanted you guys to be able to create your own virtual machine so that you can start practicing. Okay. And then we can obviously move on to the actual learning. The first step in Red Hat Linux or fundamentals of Linux is to have your own virtual machine ready. Okay, so today we are going to utilize this time. All right, so to create a virtual machine, what is a virtual machine? A virtual machine, you can take it as a secondary operating system running within your Windows laptop. For example, let me show it to you. All right, so this is a VMware workstation. It's a software using which we can create virtual machines. Similarly, we have another software like VMware Player or Hyper-V or Oracle VirtualBox. There are so many virtualization platforms available. But for now, since we are freshers, we are going to use the easier one. Okay, so the easier one is called VMware Player. Okay, so VMware Player. Obviously, I'll be sharing the links and all. Okay, so in the VMware Player, we can create a virtual machine and we can start the virtual machine. And once it starts, uh, another operating system starts. So it's a Linux operating system which I'm using on the virtual machine, and you will see it starts running within a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Provided it's not corrupted. Okay, let it boot. Okay, so let's check the slide. What do we need to get the virtual machine up and running? First of all, you need to have the operating system DVD ISO file. Okay, so we call it image. So we need the Red Hat Enterprise Linux ISO image with 1 year developer license. Now, why do we need a license? Red Hat operating system is a subscription based operating system, which means companies who are using Red Hat operating system, they need to first pay for the support. They need to pay for the updates. Then only they can use it properly. Although Linux is free, which means you can download Red Hat operating system for free, install it, use it. That's not an issue. But you cannot just simply update the operating system time to time. You cannot get the support from Red Hat if in case you are stuck with some problem. Red Hat won't support you. So if you need the latest updates, you need to make your system secure, obviously, with the updates, and you need the Red Hat support. So all of these things can be, in the package if you are paying the subscription fee. So we as a fresher or as a learner, are we supposed to pay that money? No, obviously not. We can get a free subscription for 1 year, and that is called 1 year developer license. Okay, so we will get this license for free. It's nothing. You just have to register on Red Hat, and that's it. You register on Red Hat, you get 1 year subscription, developer license. Okay, so this is the first step. Second step is to download the virtualization platform like a VMware Player or Hyper-V or VirtualBox. As I said, VMware Player is the easiest to install, configure, and use as compared to other two. All right, so we'll be using that one. Okay, also one more thing, guys. Whatever we are doing during the class, for example, the PPTs and the notes, like I have opened a notepad, right? So whatever I type, whatever I share during the class, that all will be available on Google Drive. So after this class, I'll be creating a Google Drive. I'll share the link with the team. They will upload it onto the student portal, like the place where you can access the course. And obviously the class recording, it will also be available in your student portal. Okay, so once you log in, you will see the course and you can, get all the material. Okay, so to create a VM, we need these things. We need the operating system DVD ISO file. Second, we need the virtualization platform. Okay, and in this case, we are going to use VMware Player. All right, so how to get this DVD ISO file? So the link is, this is the link which I'll be sharing. Actually, let me share it in the chat as well. Okay, I don't think you'll be able to copy, but simply click on it and it will open. Okay, so let me go there in my browser. All right, so this is the article from Red Hat Developers Forum. No cost RHEL developer subscription now available. This is the heading. Okay, so it was introduced with RHEL 8. We can scroll down and go to the section where it says go get it. Simply click on download. The first link, the first word you see, download. Okay. In a new tab, the download page will open. Now here you will see some options. Just simply click on this red button, download RHEL at no cost. Right? Click on it. Now, when you click on it, it will redirect you to a login page. So obviously you don't have any Red Hat account right now. So you can simply scroll down a bit and click on register for a Red Hat account. Okay. Once you click on register, again, obviously a new page will pop up and you need to fill in the fields like choose a Red Hat login, obviously a unique username, choose a strong password, enter your details, first name, last name, email ID, phone number, job title. Okay. If you're a fresher, you can choose other if there is an option other or just select anything else. Company name, again, as I said, if you're a fresher, you just mention NA, or if you're actually working somewhere, you can mention it. Doesn't matter. Country, region, address, postal code, everything. And yeah, and then simply click on create my account. Okay, and save the username password somewhere because we are going to use those credentials throughout the course. Okay, so when you register, save the username password somewhere safe. All right, so the moment you register, you immediately get 1 year developer license for free. Okay, so this is the benefit of registering. Okay, so once you register, you go back to this link again, click on download. Again, the red button, download RHEL. Now this time you have the credentials, right? You have the username and password. So fill in the details. Okay, the page has changed. Let me see, where is the download link now? Okay, here it is. Featured downloads, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Download now, there is a button. Click on it. Okay, now if you scroll down, you will see a table where it says all downloads. So it will First of all, list the RHL 8.8. So we are going to learn Linux, the latest version 9. So just scroll down a bit and go to 9.2. This is the most recent one, 9.2. Okay, and in this table of 9.2, you may find multiple options. First one is called x86 boot ISO. Second one, ARC64 boot ISO. Then x86 DVD ISO and ARC64 DVD ISO. You have to select the third one, x86-64 DVD ISO 8.94 GB. Okay, simply click on it and download will start. I have already downloaded it, so I won't continue. I will just simply click cancel. Okay, so within a moment, you will see the save as dialog box. Save the file. It's a 8 or 9 GB file. So just choose the drive carefully. And that's it. You have downloaded the ISO file. Okay, so this is step number one. Step number two is the VMware player, the virtualization platform. And let me share the link for that as well. First, let me just verify if this is working or not. Okay, yeah, this is the correct one. So this is the link. Again, I'm sharing it in the chat. You can simply click on it. It will open, and maybe then you can keep it bookmarked. Obviously, I'll be sharing the PPT again. It will be in the Google Drive. You can again use the links from there as well. Now, in this page, you will see two options down below. First one is for the operating system Windows. Second is for the Linux. If you're using a Windows laptop, obviously you need to download the first option. Okay, it's a 584 megabytes of size. Click on download now. Exe file will get downloaded, and once it is downloaded, you simply double click and install. Okay, it's just simple. Next, 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 finish. Okay, I don't want it. I already have it. Okay, so simply finish the installation, and that's it. So once you finish the installation, now the third step is to proceed with the build of the machine. See, when I say virtual machine, technically what exactly it is? So virtual machine means you're creating a virtual hardware with the help of a software. You're creating a virtual hardware, which means you will have the CPU and RAM allocated from your laptop. Okay, and some hard disk space allocated from your laptop hard disk, along with a virtual motherboard, along with virtual other hardware devices. Okay, let's say virtual hardware, all other hardware devices. Plus, you install a proper operating system on it. Okay, so this virtual machine is going to have some virtual hardware and RAM, CPU, hard disk allocated from your laptop, and then you're going to install the operating system. Okay, so this is the complete package of a virtual machine. All right. So, okay, before I start with the virtual machine, one thing to check is on your laptop, do you have a processor more than fourth generation of Intel? Okay, so this is the requirement, guys. You need to have at least fourth generation or more. You need to have at least 4 GB RAM. I need to have at least 50 GB of free hard disk space. That's it. And I'm pretty sure you all might be having much better configuration. If you want to check all of these things, you simply go to Task Manager. Okay, so in the Task Manager, normally we see this page as a first page, where we can end task, right click, end task, right? On the left hand side, if you're using the latest Windows, your Task Manager might have got updated. Okay, so on the left hand side, you see performance. Click on it. Now, whatever hardware is there on my system, it will be listed here. Click on CPU, and on the top, you see the name of the CPU, Intel Core i5. In my case, it is what? 8300H. 8 means the 8th generation. Okay, so I'm running a 8th generation i5. Similarly, you can check your CPU. All right, so this is first thing. Second is the memory. On the left hand side again, you see the memory. Click on it. It says, okay, here it says total is how much? Okay, it doesn't say total over here, but here it says total is 15.9 GB. Out of it, out of which 12 GB is in use. Okay, not a big deal. Available is 3.7 GB. So I can easily allocate 2 GB of RAM. So this is, this is a practice to figure out how many CPUs you can allocate, how many RAM you can allocate to your virtual machine. So as per my system, whatever is there, I can allocate easily 2 CPU. Okay, and I can also allocate 2 GB of RAM, and I will be allocating 20 GB of hard disk. So 20 GB is like standard. You can also use this. So you can also use this configuration: 2 CPU, 2 GB RAM, and 20 GB of the hard disk. Okay, so we have decided what kind of virtual machine we want. What should be the configuration? Next is to open the virtual player, the VMware player. Just a second. Yeah. Okay, so when you open the player, it will look like this. So this is the welcome page or the home page. You see the four options. First one is create a virtual machine, then open a virtual machine, download a virtual appliance. We'll discuss about the last two later. But the first one is the option we need to click. Create a new virtual machine. Click on it. A dialog box or a wizard will open. Now here you have to note that we need not to select any option here. Just select the last one. I will install operating system later. Okay, because this VMware player is designed to make your job easy, which means uh, the moment you select the ISO, DVD ISO, operating system ISO file, it will immediately start the operating system installation. You will not get to know what is happening. Okay. So the thing is, I want you guys to understand how things work, right? How the installation works. So we will install operating system later. This is the option you need to select. Click on next. Okay, what kind of operating system are you going to install? So it will be Linux. And from the drop down, select Red Hat version 9. Here it is, RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, version 9, 64-bit. Click on next. Give a name to your virtual machine. Let's say August weekend or August Linux. You can keep any meaningful name and just be careful with the location. See, in my C drive, I have 300 GB free, so I can afford additional 20 GB for a virtual machine. But if you don't have sufficient space on C, don't use this location. Okay, choose a different location. Click next. Maximum disk space. Okay, as I said, 20 GB is sufficient for practice. 20 GB is okay. Click on next. Now it says this is the blueprint of the virtual machine. And if you click on customize hardware, okay, this is the button, customize hardware. Another pop-up will open, and here we can verify or validate if the memory is 2 GB and CPU is 2 GB. So we need to allocate at least 2 CPU to the virtual machine and at least 2 GB of RAM to the virtual machine. Okay, rest is fine. Click on close. I don't have to make any change here. Click on close. Everything is okay. Now click on finish. So the moment you click finish, a blank virtual machine without any operating system will be deployed, and it will be visible here on the left hand side. You see August Linux. If I click on it, it says on the right hand side, it shows all the properties, and there are two buttons: play virtual machine and edit virtual machine. Okay. So before I proceed, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. in the chat, I can see Abhishek. Yes, Abhishek, any doubt?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, please.
Amit, so these configuration will be taken from our systems from the hard disk,
Yeah, right,
like
right.
20 GB
Your
CPUs
laptop,
and all.
yes, 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 your laptop or your desktop.
Okay, okay. I basically, actually, I was using this my company laptop. So is it okay? I hope there won't be any issue.
See, first of all, if you're using a company laptop, avoid using any licensed product. Although VMware is free, but I would suggest you to use Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, that is open source and
Hmm.
free, and you can use it. It works similarly. There is a
Hmm.
button, new virtual machine. Click on it, select all these options. It works in
Hmm.
a similar fashion. Graphically, it might be a little different, but options are the same.
Okay, so in that case, I have to download that Oracle VirtualBox.
Yes. At the same time, you can just drop an email to your manager asking, I need to upskill myself. I need to learn Linux. Please allow me to install VirtualBox. That's it. It's and just tell them that it's open source.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
this is what I used to do when I was learning automation, Ansible automation. I had to
Hmm.
create virtual machines on my office laptop because those days I had to go to office daily, right? I didn't
Hmm.
had time to practice at my home,
Hmm.
so I had to utilize that time. So yes, he gave me permission. That's not a big
And
deal.
one more thing, could you please explain this VMware download part once again? I just opened that link, second link, but I'm not sure about these steps.
Okay, no worries.
Hmm.
See, this is the page you have opened, right, on the VMware.
Yes.
So when you scroll down, you see two sections. The
Hmm.
first, the first exe is for the Windows. Second option is for Linux operating system. If
Hmm.
you are using a Linux laptop, which means your primary operating system is Linux, then you have to use the Linux bundle, which is like 500 megabytes. Okay. But I
Hmm.
assume that everyone is using Windows laptop right now. So you can use the first option, the first download now button, and
Hmm.
it will download the exe file for Windows.
And then we can proceed with the installation.
Yes, yes. You can just simply double click, it will install. It's that
Okay.
simple.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Similarly for
Amit,
VirtualBox. Yes, please.
Amit, I have MacBook.
No worries. You can download UTM. Just go to
Okay,
google.com, type UTM, enter uh, virtual machines for Mac. Okay.
got it.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
simply click on it, install it, and the process is the same.
And for
Okay,
the VirtualBox?
Yeah. For the VirtualBox, again, go to Google, type VirtualBox download.
Hmm.
The first link is download Oracle VM VirtualBox. Click on it. Okay. Now here, the first option, Windows host.
Okay.
Click on it, and the exe will download immediately. The download will start immediately. Okay. And this is the exe. That's it. It's very
Yeah.
simple.
So rather than using the VMware, we can go with this option.
Yes. If you are using your company provided laptop.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's proceed. See, till now we have just created a blank virtual machine. We often call it as a skeleton. Okay, it doesn't have any operating system. So now let's proceed with loading the operating system. To install the operating system, obviously we need to connect the virtual DVD ROM of this virtual machine with a DVD ISO file. So click on Edit Virtual Machine Settings. We need to load the DVD ISO. Okay, when you click on it, on the left you see all the virtualized hardware. We see DVD, CD, DVD, drive, network adapter, USB controller, sound card, printer, display. All of this is virtualized. So click on CD DVD. Use the third option here. Use ISO image file. Click on Browse. Go to the location where you downloaded. Let me go to my location. I use D drive to download. Okay, so here it is. RHEL base OS version 9, like that. And then simply click on OK. So you have connected the DVD onto the virtual DVD ROM. And by default, the DVD will start the booting process. And then you will see the option to install Red Hat and all. Okay. So now click on Play Virtual Machine and you will see a new screen altogether. Okay, this is called console. Technically, we call it console. All right. So this is the console, and these are the options directly from the DVD ISO. Before I proceed, let me just have a look at the chat. Hold on. Okay, Shambhu is asking, we need to download this or we can practice on NK Lab. See, in the networking's lab, the virtual machines are already prepared, which means you cannot practice the installation. And you as a Linux administrator, you should have the experience of installing Red Hat Linux, because obviously you will be responsible for deploying the machines. You have to install Red Hat. You can practice on the networking's lab. I will be explaining you the procedure, obviously, but yes, this is also important to install it manually first. Kamal, you had a question. Sorry, I missed it. Kamaljeet? Okay.
I
So
had
you
a
can.
similar question related to this only because I am also using MacBook.
Then UTM is fine. Yeah. Okay.
So on the UTM, we have to import this Red Hat.
Not import. Basically, you need to create a virtual machine. You have to use the DVD ISO.
So it's similar like VirtualBox.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Okay. In
Thank you.
fact, there are so many tutorials. You can also
Mm-hmm.
follow it.
Okay,
UTM, I
right.
think, was introduced after M1.
Okay.
So, are you using M1 or M2
Yeah,
Silicon?
M1.
Okay,
I'm
M1.
I'm
Yeah,
using M2. Sorry, M2.
M2 ना हाँ तो कोई बात नहीं. You can use UTM.
Okay,
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. All right. Let's proceed then. Just a second. What happened to my mouse? Okay. All right. So this is the page you get when the virtual machine starts with the loaded ISO file, DVD ISO file. The font might be bit small. I cannot increase the size. Okay, so please bear with it. So first option says install Red Hat Linux 9. Second option is test this media and then install Red Hat Linux. Test means if you're using a DVD, maybe there are some scratches on the DVD. So it's better to check the DVD first if the data is readable or not, right? Else you'll get stuck. So again, this is a default option. We are using a DVD ISO file, so it doesn't matter. And third is called troubleshooting, which we will use later towards the end of the course, not now. So first option, install Red Hat Enterprise Linux, enter. Now it will take maybe 10-20 seconds to load some files, and then you will see the Red Hat installer application opening. Okay, there is a chat. It says, I have one CPU. Will it create problems? No. Even if you allocate one CPU to your virtual machine, it doesn't matter. Your virtual machine will still work. Even with 1 GB RAM, one CPU, it doesn't matter. You can use it. Okay, obviously you will be experiencing a bit lag, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so right now what is happening? Right now some files are being loaded from the DVD to your virtual machine because Red Hat installer has to open, has to start. Okay, so that's why you have to be, you have to wait for the installer screen. And here it is. So this is the installer screen. This is called Anaconda. Anaconda is the Red Hat Linux operating system installer. It helps you install Red Hat Linux. Okay. So in the first page you see is the language selection. Obviously, we choose English, United States, UK, whatever you want. See, right now we are practicing, so we can select whatever we want. But in the case when you're working in a company, in an organization, you have to select the language which is requested by the customer, by the client. Okay. Normally it is English only, but for example, in my case, sometimes I had to deliver machines with language other than English, maybe Japanese, maybe something else. Okay. So click on continue after selecting the language. Again, it will take some time. It will load some details. Now this is the page where you select. Just a second. So this is the page where you make some selections. Selections like there are few options as you can see. Keyboard, the keyboard layout, US is fine. English US is fine. Second is connect to Red Hat. I don't want to connect to Red Hat right now. Okay, we'll be connecting to Red Hat when it is required, not now. The third one is installation destination. So installation destination means it is asking you whether you want to customize the installation on the hard disk. You want to create your custom partitions. Right now, we are not aware of partitioning. We are not aware of how the partitioning has to happen. Okay, so what we will do is we will open this option and simply make sure it is the option automatic is selected. So you need to make sure automatic is selected here. Okay, that's it. You don't have to do anything here. Just make sure automatic is selected and click on done. That's it. So for now, we just select the automatic partitioning. Anaconda installer will by itself partition the hard disk and then install the Red Hat operating system. Okay. Next one is language support. English is fine. Installation source, local media. Obviously, we don't have to touch it. We are using a DVD ISO to install. KDump is enabled. Let it be like this. We'll discuss about KDump later. Then time and date. So time and date again based on your current location, you can select it. So system has automatically picked my location and current time zone. That is fine. Otherwise, you can simply click on the map and that particular time zone will be applied. Okay. Then software selection. It says if you click on it, it will tell you that it has selected server with GUI. Obviously, we need to have the graphical environment. We are freshers. We are learning Linux. We need to have the graphical environment initially. Okay, so this is fine. There are multiple more options which we'll discuss later, not now, later. And then network and host name. If you click on it, you will see the network is connected, which means your virtual machine is connected to the network. You can access internet from your virtual machine. Okay. The second part here is host name. You have to give a name to your machine. Let me say August Linux. Okay, this is fine. Click on apply. That's it. So make sure net Ethernet is on, and then host name you give a meaningful name. Okay. Click on done, and that's it. So these are the options. Okay, there is a question in the chat. Okay, CentOS and Red Hat installation, are they both different? No, both are the same. In the case of CentOS, you will see CentOS written in the place of Red Hat. The logo will be changed. Okay, the process is the same, options are the same. As I said last time, CentOS and Red Hat are from the same family. They both are similar operating system. The only difference is CentOS is free to use, free to download, free updates, and obviously there is no support. Okay, it's like that. But it is from Red Hat itself. Okay, so these are the options which you have selected. Scroll down a bit and you will see security profile. Don't select anything here right now. Just leave it empty as it is. And then there is root password. Now you have to remember one thing. Just like in Windows, there is a user which can do anything on Windows operating system, and that is called administrator, right? So administrator user in Windows can do anything, can can perform administration. Similarly in Linux, the user which can do anything on the operating system is called root user. So username is root. So this root user is already created. You have to set a password for that user during installation. So click on it. It says root password. I'm going to choose Red Hat, a simpler one for now. Okay. And make sure you select allow root SSH login with password. You select this option. This is required. I'll tell you why. Okay. So since we are using a weak password, Red Hat is a weak password, obviously. We have to press done 2 times. 1, 2. That's it. The root password has been set. What else? Nothing. That's it. So this is it. Okay. So any doubts till now? Any questions? So there is a question in the chat. It says from base system, it is connected to the internet. Yes, from the base system, my virtual machine will be connected. See, one thing to understand here is On my virtual machine, I can see one IP address 192.168.211.136. And if I check my Wi-Fi IP, it's completely different. So my Wi-Fi IP is what? 192.168.1.12. And here it is 211.136, a completely different series. Okay, how is this happening? I'll explain you. Okay, so the what do you call it? The objective is virtual machine should be able to connect to the internet through your laptop, through your running operating system, base operating system, Windows. Okay. All right. So pretty much we have selected every necessary option, and you have noticed, right? We did not made any significant change, only clicks. Now click on begin installation, and it will take some time, maybe 15 minutes. Okay, maybe 15 or 20 minutes like that. Okay, till this is happening, I would like to know more about my audience. Like, are you all freshers, or somewhat some are with experience? And maybe why are you learning Linux? Why do you want to learn Linux like that? Maybe in the chat you can just explain these three things. So your experience level, are you a fresher or experienced? Then how many years? And why are you learning Linux? Okay, so these two questions. So I'm going to paste it in the chat. You can reply. Okay, Vikas says want to go to cybersecurity. Okay, perfect. See, when we talk about cybersecurity, first of all, you need to understand how operating system works, what are protocols, ports, how data flows through the network. So with cybersecurity, you have to learn the network part, the protocols part, the operating system part. Okay, and then you have to learn certain tools like you know, for example, Wireshark. It's the packet sniffer. Okay, so you have to work with certain tools. And there is an operating system called Kali Linux. It's based on Linux, obviously. And there are pre-configured tools for penetration testing, for cybersecurity engineers, So better to learn Linux first, and then you can explore Kali Linux easily. Okay, I want to go to the associate and I am a fresher in Linux. Okay, perfect. Fresher. When enter DevOps. Okay. See, these days there is a trend which is called I want to be a DevOps engineer. Okay, so do you know DevOps? What exactly is a DevOps? Is it a technology or what exactly it is? Anyone? What do you understand by DevOps?
It's a strategy basically, like not a technical thing. It's a theory, and we will be using any. I mean, like whatever the tools and everything that we use, that should satisfy that ideology what we are planning to make it.
Yeah, make your operation smooth. You're right.
Yeah.
Bang on. See, DevOps is not a technology. It's the ideology or a framework. Framework in the sense your company has decided, okay, if we need to deploy a virtual machine, we will be using certain automation. We'll be using certain tools. Maybe on the cloud, we are going to deploy, and then we will enable monitoring. There will be a kind of a chain reaction happening. Right? One step, second step, third step. So that is called DevOps. Okay. And in DevOps, you need to have basic knowledge of Linux with basic knowledge of cloud, basic knowledge of any one automation tool. Okay. And then basic knowledge overview of what is a monitoring tool. Okay. And basic knowledge of networking. Why I say basic? Because you never know what tools are there in your project. Maybe for cloud, some projects are using AWS, some are using Azure. For automation, some are using Terraform, some are using Ansible automation. Okay, like that. So it is a kind of a package, and obviously the flow will be decided by the project architect or the project team, right? And you have to use that methods.
Amit, here
Yes,
we would get a chance to learn Ansible also.
yes. So
Okay.
So what I've see the course I've compiled is keeping job in mind, keeping interviews in mind, keeping upskill in mind. See,
Mhm.
Linux you can learn anywhere in books also. That is not a big deal. But the point is when you are in the open, I mean, when you are looking for jobs, Linux is just the base. What you know after Linux? Can you automate stuff? So you need to know something about automation. So when we see automation, the first thing as a Linux admin is bash shell scripting. Shell scripting means you can organize the commands in a single file and you can apply some logic and the commands will run as per your logic. Okay, so that is shell scripting. The second thing, which is slightly new, which is called Ansible automation. Okay, so Ansible automation is Python based software, Python based application. You need not to learn Python obviously because it is using Python in the background. You need to learn the Ansible commands and Ansible methods. So Ansible is a new tool. Again, it is for automation. Let me give you one scenario. For example, there is a requirement, add the user by the name demo on 100 Linux machines, Linux servers. Okay, so you need to use user add command or some command to add this user demo on 100 Linux servers. If you do it with bash shell scripting, it will be a 4 or 5 line code. Okay, if you do it manually, it will take you 2 days or 3 days. But if you do it with Ansible, the Ansible command will be like this: Ansible space all hyphen m user hyphen a in double quotes name equal to demo. That's it. This one single line, when you press enter, so this username demo will be created on all 100 Linux machines. Okay, so this is the power of Ansible. In the background, Python is being used. That's a different scenario, but this is what we need to learn. Okay, Ansible itself is a 50 hours course. Okay, but I have designed this as a crash course for you guys so that once we finish fundamentals of Linux, you will be able to automate everything, whatever we have learned with Ansible. Okay, so maybe I'll be teaching you at least first 8 to 10 topics which are required for the automation. Otherwise, it's a 25 topic course. Okay, so at least 8 to 10 topics I'll be teaching you, starting from the configuration, installation, and your first automation like that. Okay, so it's part of the entire 50-hour duration.
Okay.
Okay, so right now we are preparing for RHCSA exam plus interviews, right? But if you are already having the Linux knowledge, you can go for RHCE as well. Now, RHCE is entire Ansible. Okay, so the complete Ansible is RHCE. So here you're going to learn everything about Ansible end to end. It's a 50 hours course. And again, maybe the second course after like, this is what 10 to 12 class, right? So 12 to 2, I'll be starting RHCE maybe from next week onwards. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at the machine. It's going to take
What
some
level
time.
of network knowledge is required, sir?
See the basic one. Basic in the sense, first of all, you should be aware what kind of networking devices are used. Switches, routers. What is the difference between switch and a router? How the data packet flows. And most importantly, the OSI model and TCP model. So first you understand what is OSI, how the data flows, it will make you understand. Okay. And then the TCP. Our systems use TCP model for communication. All right. So the basic one, the basic networking skills. What is IP? Then the data transfer, how it is happening, what are protocols, what are ports, like that.
So, Amish,
Networking, yeah.
like Linux course, which we are
Mhm.
studying right now, do we have Windows course as well?
Yes, we have Windows course, and Gaurav is here. I think Gaurav can explain. No, Gaurav
Because
left. Okay, Gaurav left.
currently I'm the project in which I'm working, it includes Windows, Linux, automation, Ansible, Pangea, Congo, everything.
Okay, okay, okay.
Hmm.
See, yes, in Network Kings, we have a dedicated course for Windows administrators as well. I'm not aware what are the timings and all, but the team can help you with that, obviously. All right. So
Whatever the CCNA course that networking is having, does it
mhm.
cover that
Yeah, obviously.
uh,
Yes.
network syllabus?
Yeah. See, when we say CCNA, that means the basics of networking, end to end.
Okay. So that will cover these things, right?
Yes.
Whatever it is
Yes.
required,
Yes.
basic knowledge.
Yes. CCNA is more
Okay.
elaborated. Let me be honest. CCNA is very elaborated, which means you'll be able to work on routers. You will be working on routers. If you're learning CCNA, you log into the router, you create a strategy how the data will flow, routing protocols, tuning the things. Then you'll be creating your own topology, network topology. Okay. So you will be configuring switches as well. So it is that elaborated. And yes, it's a good to have knowledge. Let me tell you my story. When we were learning Linux in college. Okay, so we knew the importance of Linux. I'm talking about 2008, 2009. So we requested our dean to include Linux as a course. So he hired an external trainer and gave us 2 weeks straight to learn Linux. No other class. 2 weeks straight Linux. And during that course, he asked us, "Do you want anything else?" We asked for CCNA. Okay, and then again 2 weeks more straight CCNA. So we learned Linux and CCNA in a month during the college itself. Okay, and then we got to know, okay, CCNA we have heard, we didn't knew that what are we going to do in CCNA, and then finally we saw a huge, knowledge base. So if you know CCNA, you always have a upper hand.
Right.
And yeah, so someone is asking for okay, cybersecurity, good. Enter AWS, perfect. Completely fresher.
Sir,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
working as a system administrator, like working in Firewall, Suppose XE, and I have 6 years experience
Perfect. Okay.
last. And I'm switching to Linux to cloud to upgrade my skill.
Perfect. Perfect.
I'm
See,
already completed
okay, perfect. See, when we talk about upskill, we cannot stop at Linux because Linux is just the fundamentals. Okay. We have to take a one step ahead, which is the automation. Okay. So this Ansible tool is not only for Linux automation, it can be used to automate things on Windows, on network devices, on storage devices, on virtualization platforms like VMware, vSphere, like that. So it's a complete package. Ansible is a complete package. Okay, so and as I said, I'll be making you learn the first 10 topics of Ansible, and you'll be able to automate whatever you have learned in Linux course. Okay, fresher, need to learn Linux. Okay, working as a technical support from 2.5 years, moving to Linux engineer. Perfect. Saikiran, since you're already working as a support engineer, don't apply for a fresher job in Linux. Okay, so you will be applying for L2, L3 roles. Okay, maybe DevOps. The first priority should be DevOps role. If not, then Linux administrator with automation skills, L2 or L3. Okay, Kamaljeet, really interesting. Air traffic control system airport, Linux 7.6, 10 years. Oh, okay. So yeah, so
तो
Kamal, you have no
मेरा
other
एक क्वेश्चन
choice
है
to clear.
इसमें
Anji, yes,
यस
yeah.
एक क्वेश्चन है so like for example if we say we need to have complete knowledge of RSCA before going to Ansible so
Mm-hmm.
my question is like what is that exact same knowledge I mean because in day-to-day use I've been using these 10 to 20 commands regularly
Mm-hmm.
so हम कैसे बोलेंगे कि now I have complete knowledge I'm ready to go for the next step.
Okay. See, when we say commands in Linux, the commands are categorized. In fact, let me show you something which I have already shared in the Google Drive. Just a second. Huh? I hope this image is visible. It's loading right now. Yeah. Okay, so when we say commands, these are the basic commands that you should know. Let me zoom in each section. So first is hardware information. You need to remember these commands Okay, if in case you need to extract some hardware details, these are the commands. Obviously, you need not to run every command. Only one or two are required, like DMID code over here, LSBLK, free, and LSCPU, things like that. Okay, file compression command, like in Windows we do zip, in Linux we do tar. Okay, tar is called tape archive. So 3 4 commands. Package installation, application management, so yum or DNF or RPM. Okay, and then SSH. SSH login means to take the control of the system, remote systems. I'll tell you how to do it. These are some sections. In each section, there are 1 or 2 commands. So how to search files, how to transfer the files, process related, like we do task manager in Windows. Similarly, there are some commands. File permissions, network related, system information, user related, how to manage the users, how to manage the disk related, like that. So this is a collection of, basic admin level commands. If you know all these things, then it means you know pretty much, you have good knowledge in Linux as a fresher. Okay, so
I
this is,
use it in day-to-day life, these commands.
yeah, absolutely. So that means you know how Linux works. Okay,
Absolutely. I told you
yeah,
certification is important now.
yeah, certification is important. Correct, correct. But when we talk about Ansible, so as I said, let me open the notepad here. See, when we say Ansible, Ansible is not only for Linux. Ansible is a tool which is installed on Linux. Okay. And when it is installed on Linux as a fresher or as a learner, we do the Linux related automation to learn Ansible. Because either you know Windows, you do Windows related automation, or you do Linux related. Since we are learning Linux, so we will be doing the Linux related. Also, when you appear for the RHCE exam, all the questions will be Linux related. So RHCE says, or the Red Hat says, to attempt RHCE, you should have fundamentals of Linux plus Ansible knowledge. Okay, so that's why we need to focus on these two things. All right, that's why I said when you learn Linux, we can proceed with Ansible and we can automate whatever we have learned. One example I gave: create a user demo on all 100 machines. This is one small example. A more elaborated example: install a web server, deploy the website, okay, and then add ports to firewall. Now this is a more elaborated or more complex one. So this complex task using automation we can handle by creating some instructions. We cannot just simply do it all in a one single line. We have to create some instructions, and we will create a file and type on all the instructions. That is called playbook. So the file where we type all the Ansible instructions is called playbook. And as I said, we'll be learning all of these things in Ansible automation. Okay, so installing a web server not only on one machine. Let's say there are 20 servers where you have to do this task, where you have to take the action. So with Ansible, you can do that within 15 minutes. Your job will be done. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the machine now. Okay, finally it says completed.
One small question.
Yes, please.
जो ये शेल स्क्रिप्टिंग है फॉर एग्जांपल, ये शेल स्क्रिप्टिंग मतलब हम इसमें सीखेंगे आरएचसीए में, या उसके लिए एंसिबल मतलब हमें पता होना
नहीं नहीं. See, shell scripting is nothing. It's just the combination of multiple commands, one after the other. अगर आप एक फाइल में multiple commands लिख दोगे, वो shell script बन जाती है. That's it.